This is Gabriel Gonzalez for Cage Side Press here with the lightweight finalist for PFL 2024, taking on Gadzhi Rabadanov at the World Championships in Dubai, Brent Primus. Brent, it's the end of the season, and I'd actually like to start right there because this season you actually had a whole schedule. You weren't waiting for the date as they made the schedule as the year went on. How was that compared to what you've experienced in the past, having to wait for the date intermittently?
It's amazing. I love this PFL platform. I love all the guys, man. It's amazing. I'm grateful. Back when I was fighting for Bellator, it's kind of hard to get fights as much as I wanted to. So, yeah, here I am, my fourth fight of the year, and for $1 million and for the PFL World Title. So, I'm happy and I'm grateful. Like I said, man, it's gonna be awesome.
It's been a minute since you've had this for any professional to have as many fights in a calendar year at this level. How did you balance one, obviously staying in shape all year, but two, taking the time to rest and recover so you can be at a high level all year?
Yeah, it's hard to rest and recover when you're fighting four times in 7, 8 months. It's hard. But I, like I said, I love staying busy. I love being in the gym. I love having a fight lined up, and it keeps me training hard. It keeps me eating healthy and keeping my weight down. So I love this whole platform. I think it's amazing, and I can't wait to be in the next season, and especially after I win this $1 million in this world title.
I would like to go back because of all the fighters competing on the 29th, you've had quite the journey. Just obviously last year's Grand Prix with Bellator, the acquisition by the PFL, now completing all of your fights, winning all of your fights to be back in another finals. I mean, give us a glimpse into your mind when you sit there and you think about everything the last 13 months or so. What stands out to you the most about this whole journey?
Oh man, it's been a crazy ride. It really has. When I was fighting the Bellator tournament, I never thought that I'd be fighting in PFL for $1 million in this tournament. It's awesome, but even in the Bellator tournament, I didn't know exactly when we were fighting. We didn't have scheduled dates like we do in PFL, and I think it's awesome. It's great. It keeps me training hard, and like I said, it keeps me eating healthy and my weight down, and I know what to expect. And I love this whole platform, and I love the $1 million at the end. And um, it's been a crazy 13 months or however long, but it's awesome, and I'm grateful for where I'm at right now.
I would like to ask you a little bit because also you have the benefit you've twice competed against fighters from that Abdul Manap, Habib led team. Obviously the fight with Usman. I don't think enough people have watched the Islam Mamedov fight to realize what a blueprint you set. I personally thought you had won that one. How does that experience, if at all, carry over when you're fighting another guy from that team in Gadzhi?
Yeah, it's big time. I fought in, like you said, two of his training partners, and in my eyes, I'm not taking nothing away from Gadzhi, but I think those guys were bigger and stronger and more experienced, and they fought in tougher guys. So, but I'm never going to underestimate Gadzhi. I know he's really tough, and like you said, he comes from an amazing camp. So, but I feel like I have the edge. I feel like I kind of know what to expect. I know his game. I know what he's going to do, and I don't think that he has quite the game that those two had, or whatever in some senses, but I'm ready. I'm prepared. I am more prepared, I feel. So I'm ready, man. Whether he wants to keep on the feet or go to the ground, I feel like I can finish in both of those situations. So let's go, man. We're almost there.
I don't, how do I put this? I know business wise, the dollars are the same for you, but in terms of ego, is it really nice seeing how many of the Bellator guys made it to the end of the PFL tournament? You and Gadzhi, I believe, might be the only all Bellator final, so to speak, but plenty of the other guys also represented well this season. Do you take some pride in that? Obviously, there's sometimes a lot of comparison between the leagues that you were able to show just what level you've always been competing at.
Yeah, for sure. Like Bellator signed me when I was only 2-0, and I was about to call MMA. I was about to call it I was about to just not do MMA anymore because I had so many people sign contracts and that would back out of my fights when I was like 2-0, and I actually had to pay my first two professional fighters from my purse to fight me because I was the black belt and all these things. So I feel like Bellator has a higher level of competition, and so obviously I'm grateful for that because it gets me ready and mentally and physically just fighting better guys. And Gadzhi comes from an awesome camp. He's a tough guy. He's really, really good. I fought in two of his training partners that I feel are bigger and have maybe a little bit better game than him. I'm not really sure, but I'm so confident in this fight. I even looked up some of Gadzhi's first like 10 fights or 15 fights, and a lot of those guys had like 50-50 records, and he was not fighting that high of competition. So I feel like I'm going to be his toughest fight. I'm his toughest competitor to date, and I'm going to show that on the 29th, just right in the corner. So I'm confident, man. I'm confident in my ground, confident in my stand up. I feel like I can finish him wherever this fight goes.
I know you're focused on the mission on the 29th, as everyone would be. I'd be remiss if I don't ask, you win this one. My imagination tells me, obviously, the biggest fight that would be made would be as the tournament winner taking on the Bellator champion. Is that something you've thought about or have, just considered going into 2025?
Yeah. I think a champion versus champion would be awesome. I know Usman is set to fight Paul Hughes coming up, and that's going to be an awesome fight. And I'd love to fight the winner of that. I think it's going to be Usman, but I'd love the second crack at Usman. When I fought him, I never felt like I was in danger or anything like that. So if I prepared and trained a little bit different, I think that fight will be different, and I think that'd be awesome, man. Champion versus champion. It doesn't get better than that.
You brought it up earlier, so obviously that would be one of the fights. The nice thing about, the PFL setup is that if you fight on a Bellator card, you're not necessarily locked in to that promotion. Would you say the plan still is get that fight, but then potentially still be able to go for another $1 million in another season? Is that safe to say?
100%. I'm down to do fights in Bellator still, but I really want to be in this next season, next year in 225 in April. So that's the goal. I'm gonna win this $1 million. I'm gonna win this PFL world title, and if they want to have a champ versus champ, or if they want me to fight in Bellator, that's cool. But I definitely want to be in next season's PFL tournament. I love the platform. I love how they keep us busy. We know when we're fighting, and so after this fight, I'm going to take 1 month off vacation. I'm going to eat a lot of cake and ice cream and pizza, and then right back to the books, man. I'm going to go in the gym and start getting ready for that next season. So hopefully 225, you'll see me fighting for PFL again.
A couple more before I let you go from this one. Curious, fighting out of American Top Team. I know Arman Sarukian has spent some time there. Obviously, he's expected to have a fight with another one of these guys from Dagestan in Islam. Has there been any crossover with him during this camp for you, or with any of the coaches just sharing more of that knowledge the way that that team likes to prepare for fights?
No, because I'm actually training at American Top Team Portland, and
Ah.
they're and American Top Team Coconut Creek or whatever. So I haven't got to train those guys, but we do have a thing with both American Top Teams that if I'm fighting somebody that's similar to any of the guys that are over in American Top Team Coconut Creek, that they'll send them over or vice versa, so we can help each other out. So, but no, I haven't crossed paths with any of those guys. So I do train with 3 or 4 Russians at American Top Team PDX, and they've been helping me get ready, with their sambo background and all that stuff. So actually, one of my training partners actually was on the Russian national team with Gadzhi, and so it's kind of cool, getting to train with all those guys that kind of have the same game or background, sambo and stuff like that. So I feel like they've helped me out a lot. And, yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm ready.
Well, I appreciate you enlightening me. Thank you. Finally, when I've spoken with a lot of people, most of them say most likely one of the best fights we're going to have out of that championship card, big as it is most likely Brent versus Gadzhi. What can you let the fans know who'll be tuning in on the 29th on what to expect when you guys meet in the cage for all the marbles?
Fireworks. I'm gonna go out there and fight to the death. I'm gonna fight as if my life is on the line. This is life changing for me, and my family. Man, more than anything, I want to see my kids grow old. But man, I'm ready to die in there. I am. I'm ready, man. I there will be no quitting me. I am going to fight to the death. This is a gladiator fight for me. For me, my kids are gonna be watching, and man, this is life changing. So do or die for me. I'm gonna go and fight every inch, everything in my life. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna put it all on the line. And um, man, it's gonna be crazy. I'm ready.
Well, Brent, we're looking forward to it. Best of luck. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time on November 29th for all the marbles, Brent Primus, Gadzhi Rabadanov, lightweight final for the PFL, ESPN Plus in the United States. You guys know where to find it.